Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's talk about the Mastery Abilities 2 for all of the standard pool cost 100 units that were released before the Crystal Fest banner. And if there's one thing that I regret about going on my little break making content for War of the Visions, it was not covering the Mastery Abilities 2 as they were coming out, because that's fun stuff, I think. Maybe characters that you hadn't used in a while, you could bring them back, and it would be fun to think about how they would fit in the new or the current meta. But I'll try to make up for that a little bit here. And I do not know how far Global is with the buffs here, so this might all be old news as far as I know. But it's an excuse for me to make a video, one where I feel comfortable, even having kind of been out of the loop for a while. It's kind of like playing tennis at a high level. You gotta play every day, and then if you miss a day, then it's gonna take you 3 days to get back to that previous form that you had. And that was me with War of the Visions at my height, just my mind was full of all of the info. So I knew all the skills that people were doing, and I knew the meta, and I knew the equipment and all that available. That's all gone, so yeah, I'm just going to be reading the Mastery Abilities 2 here, and then just reacting to them. But first, I want to say thank you to the global War of the Visions community. If you know me, you know I've shot my mouth off in a bunch of situations. I've let the vinegar flow, as I like to call it. But the global community, it always let me say those things. You tolerated me, you let me have my voice on my channel, and I do appreciate that. Lately I've been making mostly videos about near reincarnation. There is a segment of that global community that just does not like me. It even goes so far that other content creators are like, don't go to Cabbage's channel because he has bad info, bad advice. That, as far as I know, has never happened in War of the Visions or any of the other previous games that I covered. Just really weird, kind of out of proportion stuff, which makes you wonder what is different about this global near reincarnation community compared to all of the other ones that I've been a part of. But anyway, never really felt that when I was in the War of the Visions global community. So yeah, I appreciate you letting me be me. Alright, anyway, let's look at some Mastery Abilities 2. First we have Helena, and then I grabbed this from the Game8 website. It has both the pre-buff and the post-buff, so this is easy for us to see the differences between the two. But we got the Dark Element Team Buff, we got the Magic Resistance Penetration, and then Magic Up. And then with Mastery Ability 2, it is added that her casting time will go down 20%, and then she'll get Spirit Penetration. I can't really think of a time whenever the casting time was a problem with Helena. I think a lot of people use the calculator subjob on her anyway, so that's not an issue there. But the Spirit Penetration is nice. And you combine that with her Dark Imperil and all that, and there's kind of no way to kind of guard against her, so she's still a top level damage dealer, I would say. Okay, next we have the Mastery Ability 2 for Jaden, and this caused a big stir when it was released. But before we have the Light Element Team Buff as usual, used AP down 20%, and then Projectile Resistance up 10. But here the Projectile Resistance Penetration will be increased to 40, that's pretty crazy. He'll also pick up Magic up 20%, that will increase the damage of most of his attacks. And then he'll get the Reaction Prevention 40%. So yeah, pretty darn good. I don't think it's going to change how he plays, but he'll just be better at it. Okay, next we got Dwayne, super simple buff here. He had the Dark Party buff before, Defense Penetration up 20, and then Attack up 10%. With Mastery Ability 2, he'll pick up a HP 20%, and then Attack buff will go up to 30%, so very simple, but exactly what he wants. Okay, next we have Oberon. He's got the Earth Party buff, and then HP up 10%, single target attack resistance up 10. Post buff, he will pick up HP 20%, that's improved. Used AP down 30%, And then this skill will be upgraded. This is an AoE self-buff. It will raise critical evade, area of effect, resistance up, and then for 3 turns, raise defense penetration. So he can improve now the damage output of teammates. I actually usually have this turned off when I'm using him. I want him to use his barrier, you know, or I want him to use bells or something. So actually, I don't know if this buff here to this skill is that great. Okay, next we got Classic Lassie. Before the buff, Fire Team buff. Air effect resistance up 10, and then ability casting time down 20%. Post buff, she will get magic up 20%, air effect resistance up to 20, and then one of her skills will be upgraded. It will break magic, damage mitigation barriers, do big damage, will restore own AP, and then on people with Berserk and Sleep will do extra damage. So that's pretty good. No casting time on this either. Not super far range, but yeah. I still remember using this attack. Okay, next we got Megamont. Pre-buff, this was the Fire Team element buff, and then air effect resistance up 15. Post-buff, he will get HP up 10%, and then all element resistance up 10. That's just what he needs. Alright, just for fun, we'll have a look at Thancred as well. I'm pretty sure Global has this mastery ability too. But post-buff, he will have the Light Party buff, raise HP 20%, slash attack up 10, attack up 150, and then Blasting Zone will have no casting time. This is a great attack for him, even though it's short range. Okay, then we have a Super Stern. Post-buff, he will get the Dark Element attack buff for the party. Raise own HP 20%, that's great. Defense penetration up 20, that's the same as before. Slash attack resistance penetration up 20, that's great for him. Slash attack up 10. And then at the beginning of battle, we'll get 1 barrier, which will cancel an attack. That will be like the image self-buff from Laswell. That's also exactly what Super Stern wants. And I would often use Agrius's Trustmaster with the Protect and Shell, just for exactly this reason, so I think I could stop using that on him. Very nice mastery ability too. Okay, and then we have Gilgamesh. Post-buff, he will give ice units for the team a buff, raise own HP by 1,250, accuracy up 15, slash attack up 10, agility up 10%, and then the armor self-buff will get upgraded. We'll give damage mitigation barrier times 3, and for 3 turns we'll raise slash attack and then accuracy. Yeah, this is a great buff that I like to use all the time with Gilgamesh. Okay, so that was a rundown of all of the Mastery Abilities 2 for Standard Pool, cost 100 units, released before the Crystal Fest banner. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.